Hello and welcome to Cupcake Addiction's Volcano Cupcake tutorial, where I'll be showing you how to make these gorgeous little volcano cupcakes. I've themed them as little dinosaur volcanoes, but they're also excellent for Hawaiian parties, luau's, anything like that. So let's get started. Tools and equipment that we will be using today. I'm presenting mine on little cake boards. So these are just little 4-inch cake boards, and I covered mine with just a really thin layer of green fondant. So we do have a tutorial on how to cover a cake board. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. Otherwise, you can present these on little plates, little saucers, anything you like. Because I'm using the dinosaur theme today, I'm cheating a little bit on my figurines. I'm making a lot of these, and I'm just using some little tiny dinosaurs that came in a pack with a whole bunch of palm trees. Now these are really commonly available. In Australia, I got mine for $15 and I got a huge bag of them. Rocks, trees, dinosaurs, all sorts, everything you can imagine. And $15 is a pretty good price. I've got a couple of Ziploc bags, some scissors. I've got a serrated edge knife. I've got a really little circular cookie cutter. Now this one's about a 3/4 of an inch or a 2 centimeter, but if you don't have a really small circular cookie cutter, you can also use just the end of one of your round piping tips. So have a think about what else you might have around the house that's gonna be about that size. I've got a little bit of our dark chocolate ganache, just a little bit. Now this is basically a 50-50 mix of cream and chocolate melted, and you don't need too much of that. I will leave a link to our ganache recipe in the description box below. And I've also got here a white chocolate ganache that I've colored. So once again, I'll leave a link for the recipe for this. I've made the complete recipe, split it in half, and then I've added food coloring to one half to make it red, and a little bit of red with a little bit of yellow to make it orange. Now you can use liquid food coloring, powder, oil, paste, any sort of colouring you like to colour that white ganache. The first thing that you want to do is, I've got a slightly uneven edge there because your cupcakes are going to sort of rise on the top. So take your serrated edge knife and just cut along. You can see there I've got quite a dense cupcake, so I've used an actual mud cake mix. I prefer mud cake for this type of thing. Just holds together a little bit better and it's a little bit less risk of crumbling when you use a mud. So now you want to take your, we'll just clear ourselves a little bit of space, but now you want to take your ganache. So this has just been made. It's still quite fluid. I made it probably 10 minutes ago. Take your cupcake and you just want to roll it around. So you can see there, I'm not coating the top and the bottom, just the side, and I'm just kind of lifting it up and rolling it, and just drip off any of that excess, and then that's going to go over into our cooling rack to set. Now with these ones, I've preset one here. Let that sit for about an hour or so before you keep going with it, just to become kind of touch dry. Pop it over on the cooling rack. Now if you pop your cooling rack over a baking tray, you can actually scrape off any of that ganache that drips through. You can pull it out and you can use it to make cake pops, use it again. If it's in a nice clean tray, you're gonna be able to reuse it. Okay, now as mentioned, I've got this one here that has already set. So this one here has had 3 or 4 hours and that's really dry. This is a great indication of what your guests are going to get. So they're not gonna have this drippy chocolate mess that we've just dipped. They're gonna have a really nice they'll be able to easily pick it up. So you wanna take that and you wanna take your little circular cookie cutter. Once again, this is where the mud cake comes into its own. It's nice and firm. I'm just going to push in my circular cookie cutter till it's about a millimetre or so poking out the top. Give it a turn and it's going to core that cake beautifully. So what we've got now is our little volcano top. Take all of those cores and all of those offcuts and we can use those to make some cake pops. So what you want to do is take your little board, and depending on how dry that is, I've let mine really set, so I want just a little bit of something to stick it to the board. If yours is still quite a bit tacky, don't worry about it, just stick it straight onto the board. Because mine just needs a little bit of help there, I'm just going to take a tiny little dot of ganache and that's going to act like glue. And then I'm going to use my knife, just pick up your volcano and slide it down. You can see there it's a little bit messy around the bottom, and that is perfect. It actually makes it look more realistic as a volcano. So don't be too worried if as you pick it up, you knock a little bit out of the bottom. So now you want to take your Ziploc bags. We're just going to pop some red ganache into one and some orange ganache into the other. If you love this tutorial, make sure that you head on over to our channel, MyCupcakeAddiction. We've got heaps of great tutorials and we upload several times a week, so we would love to have you stop by. Come and pay us a visit and see what else we've got that you might like to watch on our channel. Now I am letting all of the air out of those bags before I completely seal them. I like to start with the orange here because I think with volcanoes and lava, the more prominent colour is the red. So I'm just going to snip off a little tip at the end here. Look, there's no exact size, just snip off a little corner, fashion it into a bit of a makeshift piping bag. And I'm gonna squeeze that into the middle. So it's about 1/3 of the way up. Once it's about 1/3 of the way up, I'm gonna start oozing over the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And leave the orange at that. You don't really want to do too much more orange than that because you really, like I said, you want that dominant color to be red. Snip the tip off your red, and we're going to do the same. Now don't overfill this lava pit too much. So you want to take your red, and rather than sort of filling the middle, we're just going to start going straight over the edge and filling those gaps. Once you're at that stage, now you can see here as my ganache is pooling at the bottom. That is perfect. We want that because that's going to act like glue to stick on our trees and to stick on our little dinosaurs. So I like to take just a fraction more of the orange and just do a little, kind of a little circle, and this is going to give us a bit of a marbled effect. So just take your knife or a toothpick or whatever you like and just splosh that ganache over the side. Gives you a really nice lava dribble, and it just kind of, I found with these ones that if the ganache was too flush with the top of the volcano, it just looked messy. So you really want that ganache to be just underneath the line of the top of your volcano. Now from here, I'm going to use this little palm tree, and I'm going to use, you might do a little Dilophosaurus. Yes, I know my dinosaurs. My 2-year-old is obsessed. And I'm just going to use, you can see here, I've got a nice little blob of orange ganache. So stick that straight down to that orange ganache. And your little Dilophosaurus, because he's standing on 2 feet, you want to make sure that you really get his foot firmly into that ganache. And there's going to be no risk that he's going to fall over. So there you have your completed little lava cupcake. Perfect for a dinosaur party or a Hawaiian party. And as you can see here, I've turned it into a full dinosaur lolly table for my little 2-year-old. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you'll enjoy sharing these volcano cupcakes with your loved ones. Thanks very much for watching.